Hey everyone, it's Lars here, and welcome back to Virtual Paddock. Today, once again driving a Mercedes. This is the 500e from the W124 series. And unlike the CLK GTR, which I drove in my previous video, this one didn't dominate against the likes of, for example, Porsche. In fact, this car probably saved Porsche. So I'm going to take it around the Nordschleife and tell you how. Right, so the story was that in the early 90s, when this car was made, actually came out in 1990, so in the late 80s and early 90s, Mercedes wanted to put the 5-liter V8 from the SL, they wanted to put that into the W124, which was about to become the E-Class from 1993 onwards. And at the same time, Porsche was in pretty severe financial difficulties, with the workforce being pretty underutilized. And so what Mercedes decided to do is they asked Porsche to develop this in a way to fit that 5-liter V8 into the E-Class. So Porsche did that. It was good for Porsche because they had work to do. And at the end of the development, it turned out that this car was actually slightly too wide to be produced entirely at the Mercedes factory. And so they ended up also assembling this car at Porsche. Which got Porsche some much needed money, and they could finally properly utilize their workforce again. And Mercedes had a sporty and powerful version of the W124. So this car, as I said, 5-liter V8, naturally aspirated, 326 horsepower. And transmission, you notice that I'm shifting sequentially. It actually had a 4-speed automatic. And in the actual road car, top speed was limited to 250 kilometers an hour. Which I don't think is possible to do that in the Assetto Corsa, except with the gear ratios. So this mod actually does go a bit faster. So this is not like an ultra top quality mod, but I chose this because it's a car with an interesting backstory. Probably should have been second there, but it's just 4 gears, which honestly feels a bit unusual. Most cars I drive have at least 5 gears. Also very heavy force feedback in this one. I already turned it down. You can still see it clipping quite a lot. Now, I don't actually know for sure. I probably need to research it, but I kind of assume that part of the reason why Porsche had such financial difficulties at that point could have also been because with one of their cars in the 80s, with the 959, they literally sold that at about half the price it took them to manufacture per car. I don't know if that's the actual reason, but I could imagine that that contributed to Porsche's problems. But yeah, with this car, they got some much needed money back in. And they did a lot of the work for this car. So the basic design, of course, was made by Mercedes. But Porsche, they did a lot of work on the electronics for this car. Of course, the body, this has significantly wider fenders than the standard model had. It's overall 5.6 centimeters wider than the standard W124 E-Class was. In fact, this one only had 4 seats instead of 5 seats because differential and the whole stuff for it was so massive that they couldn't fit a rear's middle seat. Right, so the top speed is way too fast. Actually, it's according to the info in the Assetto Corsa. That said over 400 horsepower, and this car actually had just 326. So I highly doubt that it could have lapped the Nordschleife in 7 minutes and 36 seconds. Because actually by that time, no road car had lapped the Nordschleife in under 8 minutes yet. That wouldn't happen till 1999. It was actually a Porsche that did that. The 911 GT3 from the 996 generation. So I assume that this car is probably half a minute to a minute too fast in this version. But still, I think it's a very interesting car with an interesting backstory to it. Anyway, so thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. So, till next time, use the downforce and see you soon.